Hi, welcome back to the channel. My name's Rebecca, and earlier this year I moved into a little homestead in the mountains of Asturias in northern Spain. And the point of doing that was to be able to live self-sufficiently as much as possible and to live within nature. So I follow the carnivore diet, and that means that I would like to have my own animals for meat so that I know what's been put into them and I know that they've been treated well and lived happy lives. And that was the main driver for basically moving to a farm. But I also want to start including vegetables back into my diet, as I've said in a few recent videos. So there's a big greenhouse here. So that's one of the things that really excited me about the place. And yes, I would like to start growing my own vegetables and therefore not worrying about pesticides and things like that. So mindfully including vegetables in my diet and seeing how that goes in terms of my health, because if you've been following my channel, you'll know I had an extraordinary result on the carnivore diet. I have multiple sclerosis officially, but I don't have any symptoms or on any medication at the moment, and it's been that way for like a number of years. And so and the carnivore diet was one of the pieces of a major piece of the puzzle in getting my health back. So it's important to me to continue on the diet, but I'm also willing to experiment with keto and whole foods and see what I can tolerate. But that's not the topic of this video. The topic of this video is just how difficult it has been this year in many respects. It's been 6 months that I've been here. I mean, in some respects, it's been very successful. It's just that, you know, this summer has brought a number of challenges, and I guess I just want to offload a bit, because it got to the point where I'm like, oh my God, you know, but without wanting to sound like I'm complaining at all. You know, I'm living in a very wonderful place, and I'm embarking upon a very exciting and wholesome lifestyle. So I wouldn't change that for the world. But I would say that, you know, if you're thinking of living the dream, be prepared for it not to be easy. Like, I used to work in the city in like offices, and I hated that. I felt that my soul was, you know, leaving my body a little bit more every day when I worked in offices in the city. And that's not my experience living this lifestyle. It's better for the soul, it's better for the spirit and for the body as well. So I wouldn't change it, but also, like, it's not easy. Like, living in an isolated area in a foreign country is not easy. It's not easy. And yeah, so I just wanted to mention some of the challenges that I faced this year. So, like, I woke up last week and suddenly it was autumn. Yeah, the season like changed from one day to the next. It was very weird. So now we're basically in autumn, and I have to say I'm very relieved. The summer was hard because we had lots of heat waves. If you're in Europe, you'll know all about that. There was one heat wave after the next, and it was very challenging. And actually there were a lot of wildfires all over Spain, very serious ones. We weren't affected by that in this area. There have been helicopters going over with water underneath them. They go and collect water from the mountains here to take them to wildfires. So I've seen lots of helicopters going over. So there obviously have been wildfires in Asturias, but I haven't seen any myself. But yet it was a very hot and dry summer. Yeah. And at the moment here in this place, in this house, there is no water. We don't have a water supply right now. So that's been really effing stressful. You know, you can't live without water. What I've been doing to deal with the situation is I've been going down to, there's like a municipal area where you can park your camper van overnight for free. And there is a water tap. So I go down there every few days and I fill up all of my bottles. I've got like a stash of big plastic bottles, and I fill up with water from there, so that I can give water to the animals and so that I can have water, and I shower from that water. So there is water available, but I have to drive to it and bring it back to the house. I don't have it coming out of the taps. So it's just a big saga. Like, it is partly to do with the fact that it's been a very hot, dry year. So like the flow of water from the spring into the big deposit which is shared by about 3 or 4 other people, other neighbours, that flow into the deposit is much less. It's like a tiny drip going into the deposit of the water tank, sorry. It's called a deposito in Spanish. The big water tank that serves me and a few other neighbours, the flow into it has been quite a lot reduced. So it's not that there's no water from the spring, but there's just it's a very minimal flow. And that means that obviously the tank takes longer to fill. And if there is more water going out the other end at the taps, well, it's just mathematics, isn't it? Like the tank's gonna get empty. And what we think is that there's actually a leak somewhere, because it's been the tank has been emptying much quicker than it should be and taking a lot longer to recover. And so we think that there's a leak. And yeah, it's just very complicated. And the reason it's complicated is because the neighbours have all of these arguments between them. Like, they don't all speak to each other. And this has been going on for like decades. And I've just kind of walked into the middle of it. And I do feel like in the thick of this rural life of these you know, generations old families that have got these conflicts that go back, and it's water over water, you know, and that's the most basic resource. Anyway, so there's probably going to be a financial implication at some point where we're going to have to increase the size of the water flow, the volume of the water flow, by digging up there and bringing concrete. There's this whole plan in place, but it involves money, which obviously I will have to contribute to as one of the people who uses the water supply. And right now I don't have any money because I got shafted by somebody who was going to sort out the fencing here at my place. Now that's the other problem I've had, is that I have not been able to get sheep this year as I planned. And one of the reasons is that I want sheep is for my health, and to also be more ethical in my carnivore diet than buying supermarket meat. But also it's far cheaper to have your own animals. If I'm going to be carnivore and I accept that I'm eating animals, then this is the best way to do it. And that was one of the major drivers for moving here. But the fencing, there is fencing, but it's rusted. So there's like holes in the bottom of it, presumably where like foxes have broken through or whatever. And that means that the sheep could escape. So I can have a donkey, that's fine, that won't break out of the holes, but a sheep might. And so I can't actually have sheep until that's fixed. And I trusted somebody to fix my fencing, and I trusted him because he was the brother-in-law of the lady who sold me the place, whose father used to own it before he died. So it was a recommendation from a family member of the people the guy who actually built this place. And she is horrified by what's happened. She's a lovely lady. And yeah, basically what he did was he took money from me for materials, then he never did the work, and now he's not giving me the money back. And so obviously I shouldn't have given him money at all. I should have gone and bought those materials myself. Fine, lesson learned. But yeah, I've had to press charges against him and get the police involved, the Guardia Civil, which is basically the police. And now everybody's telling me that this is just how he rolls. He does this to everybody. So I just feel completely stupid. But also I desperately need that money. It's like 3,000 euros that he has of my money. And I can't do anything until I have that money back. And so, you know, I'm just tearing my hair out here. And we text each other like every day, but it's turned into like insults. And like it's just, the whole thing's just degenerated into like a insult slinging. But yeah, he promises me he'll give me this money back, but it just hasn't happened yet. And I don't know, I don't know what I'm going to do. And now that the winter's coming, I also need to get a wood burning stove to insert into the chimney. So I'm a bit concerned about that as well. Without this money coming in, I can't afford to get that. I mean, you can get them cheap secondhand on Wallapop, but yeah, I basically I need this money to come back in before I can do anything to move forwards with the farm. And I got shafted. I trusted the wrong person, and I shouldn't have paid for the materials in advance. And now I'm living with the consequences of that. So yeah, it's all just a little bit like, there's no water, there's no fencing, I haven't got anything up and running. And then on top of that, I have got all these fruit trees, and now it's the autumn, all the fruit's falling. And I'm overrun with Asiatic wasps. Asiatic wasps, or hornets, so they're an invasive species which Asturias has got a big problem with. And I haven't seen a nest actually near me, but there no doubt is a nest somewhere, maybe not on my land, but somewhere around there'll be a nest. And the thing is, the fallen fruit is just bringing them in such large numbers that it's becoming unmanageable. Like under the pear tree, which there's a big pear tree right by my solar panels, and it's the worst place. Like I've been trying to keep on top of collecting the pears and removing them so that to not attract the wasps, the hornets. But it got out of control. Like I left it for a couple of days when I didn't pick up the pears, and it all just got out of control. And now there's so many wasps there that I can't even go there to collect the pears. There must be like about 15 or 20 wasps at any given moment just buzzing around the floor, and I'm trying to walk around them to pick up these pears. And the thing is, these things are no joke. Like if they sting you, like I've seen someone show me on their hand where they've been stung by one, and he's like, you see this big red lump, like that was like a year ago. He's like, it's still there. He's like, they really hurt. You can die if you get like a swarm of them stinging you. If you're like strimming or something and you strim a nest and you get attacked by like a swarm of them, that can kill you. Like these things are big and bad. And my land is currently full of them because of the fruit. So I'm thinking, you know, what I'm going to do is basically just wait for the season to pass, wait for the fruit to rot, you know, collect up as much as I can manage, trying not to get stung, and just wait for the season to pass. And then I'm going to start deciding which trees I'm going to keep and which I'm going to get rid of. That big pear tree, I would like to cut it down because it's too close to the house to have that amount of wasps. What worries me most is the dogs, actually. If the dogs go up there and get stung, you know. So yeah, so it's just been crazy. Like the summer's been pretty full on. Like I've had this issue with the local guy with the fencing and the money. We've had wasps, there's been wildfires, there's been drought. Just bring on the autumn, and let's just have a rest from all of these things, you know. And what I would like to do is start concentrating on the greenhouse, because you can plant things over the winter. Like there's like overwintering onions and like spinach and things like that you can, although spinach is very high in oxalates, I've heard. So I don't know, I'm going to be mindful about what I plant, and I'm also thinking ahead as well about what I want to do with all these fruit trees. And I've realized, because he used to make cider, the guy who lived here, but I'm not interested in cider. I'm interested in apple cider vinegar, and I'm interested in jams, not for me but to sell. So I've been thinking up the different types of produce that I could make with the fruit that I have in such abundance. And so like the flavours I've got in mind at the moment for the jams are cherry, because I've got a big cherry tree, apple and cinnamon, apple and blackberry, pear and ginger, and kiwi. So they're the fruit flavours that I could actually, well, there's also a plum tree and there's also a fig tree. So like there's all different kinds of flavours, but I thought I could start out with just like 3 or 4 and master those, and then start, you know, jarring them up and selling them in local farmers markets and things like that. I like that idea. I wasn't ready for it this year, but now I know like what order they fruit in. So like the cherry came first, and then the pears, then the apples, and then it will be the kiwis. So yeah, I'm kind of more informed about the quantity of fruit that I have, and you know, the times at which they'll be ready. Like I missed the cherries completely. They were only fruiting for about a couple of weeks before they disappeared, so I missed the boat. So yeah, I'll be waiting for it next year, and in the meantime I want to focus on the greenhouse and start getting some stuff planted. A new thing that I have is a compost bin. So we didn't have a compost bin, but I had a workaway volunteer who made me one, so I'll have compost. And because I've got animals in the field, donkeys and 2 horses, I'll have lots of manure. They're not my animals, they're somebody else's. And actually, one of the horses and the donkey are pregnant. So the baby donkey in March, turns out donkeys are pregnant for like 12 months. So the baby donkey will happen in March, and I will have the baby donkey. So I will have a donkey next year. So that's really cool. I'm very happy about that. Yeah, so things are moving forwards, but it's just been like, oh my God, it's just been so full on this summer. I'm talking about this just to kind of give a flavour of like the kinds of things that go on. Like, I don't know if what I'm saying is interesting or useful to anybody, but it's like just what I have to say about what this year's been like on the homestead. It's been full of challenges, but but the thing is, life is full of challenges. It's like, which challenges are you going to pick? Which battles are you going to pick? I don't want to live in the middle of a city and do a 9 to 5 office job. It's not even that I don't want to, I can't. I physically, spiritually, emotionally don't feel able to live that way. And therefore, I'm going to give this lifestyle my best shot, even though it is challenging. And part of me just wants to go home. You know, part of me just wants to go home. And what does home mean to me? Home is my little Airbnb rental in the mountains in Asturias. I have a lovely little Airbnb rental, just a 1-bedroom house in the most beautiful area in a lovely village where I feel so part of things and so welcome. And that's home. Like, that's where I would go if I was to go home. But I can't, because I have to rent it out, because that's how I have an income. So I'm actively working on getting in, not only reducing my expenses here on the farm, but generating an income now that I've got my health back in professional projects. And so the plan that I've got is retreats. Everyone's doing like yoga retreats and stuff in Asturias, like that's old hat, but I'm trying to get off the ground writing retreats and English language immersion retreats for Spanish professionals. So I have a venue, I have this wonderful hotel, which is my best friend manages a hotel near the coast, and it's absolutely beautiful. And so, I've been out networking and made some really great friends who are willing to participate on these retreats. So I've got a published author of like 5 best-selling books, an American lady, and I've got 2 lovely English teachers who would help me with the English language immersion retreats. So that's basically where my plan is to not only have the farm, but also to have income that I'm generating by other means that would enable me to stop renting my little house, my little Airbnb, so that I can just have it as my house. That's my plan. That's my long-term plan. And I wouldn't, I'll still have the farm, but my ideal for the farm would be to have somebody else living here as well, so that somebody who can look after the farm while I'm not there, that gives me flexibility to come and go from the Airbnb property and to do the retreats. So yeah, that's basically where I'm going with all of this. But yeah, I just wanted to give you an update on the killer hornets and the drought. Yeah, so I just wanted to show you as well, there's something that's quite cool. Okay, you see all this bunting that's been put up? That's because I got home one day and I found that my chickens were terrified. They were all hiding under bushes and things, and they wouldn't come when I called. And it was most likely because a bird of prey had come down and tried to catch them. Luckily, they were all alive. I managed to round up all of them. But one of my neighbours was like, why don't you put up bunting? That will help protect your chickens against birds of prey, because they'll see moving things in the sky. So that's what I've done. I've put up all the bunting so that the chickens are safer. Here they are. I mean, if they know what's good for them, they'll stay here under the cover of the trees anyway. Let's go see the pregnant donkey. Catalina! She's called Catalina. Hello. I've forgotten your name. This is Catalina. Hi, Catalina. Hello, darling. This is Catalina, and this is Catalina's baby in utero. So technically I've already adopted a donkey. There it is. So that's it really. I just wanted to give you guys a quick update. Take care, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.